Let's go. How's everyone doing tonight? We're in here live, ready to talk about anything anybody wants to talk to. Questions, comments, concerns, whatever you want to talk about, we're ready to talk about. This week I tested out one of my CDL holders. I tested him out today. He was out there. We were working, having a good time. And I was like, man, you're ready to test. And he did excellent. He passed his test. He's going on to that TNT phase. CDL holders, they have to do engine compartment, lights, and in cab, and they have to. We can just have them back into a spot over there. So as for like doing all the maneuvers on the pad, none of that. We're going to teach you a CDL holder. Hey, we're going to work off of the skills he has, and we're just going to tighten it up. So every CDL holder I get, I'm all like, let's see what you can do. Once I see where he needs work, I start working in those areas till I get him up to where he needs to be to test out. And, CDL holders, they're kind of hard. They're kind of hard because they were taught one way. They were taught how to do it one way. And then we're coming at you and we're all like, hey, man, we got to get you up to prime standards. So, like, we're way above that. And, it was kind of cool because I think that he really got to see how much work like I put in and how much I'm like, hey, I want you to be on this level. Like we shoot for the highest level. We want the best of the best out here. So like he really understood that, hey, we're getting you up to higher standards. That way when you go on TNT, you're gonna be great. You're gonna have a good time. He was a great student. We had a lot of fun together, like real cool guy. And we're gonna keep in touch. So, Backwoods, what's up? Woods Transport. Oh, you have a new picture, huh? Mike. Howdy, Mike. How's it going, Mike? I'll be there on the 16th for PSD TNT trainer classes. So let's go, bro. Yeah. Uh, it's pretty cool, man. Like you've done it before, so it's nothing new for you. Right now, I think the hardest thing right now is pre-trip. And if you're an instructor, instructor out there, guys, check your students pre-trip before you test them out. That's one of the biggest advice I can give anyone that's starting to train the PSD students is, hey, check that pre-trip before you put them on the test. Make sure that they're going to pass it. It seems like we're having way more fails on pre-trips, especially since the change. So, we went from a pre-trip that was a lot of parts, that was like a whole bunch of parts, and it's the federal government, the FMSA, CSA, they all decided, hey, we're going to make the pre-trip shorter. And when they did, it made it easier to fail. So, like, if you're missing stuff, it is easier to fail. Like, it's easier to learn and it's shorter. But if you start messing it up, it's over with. Like, you're not going to pass. And, a lot of it has to do with your students out there studying it and going through it and going through it. But as an instructor, you need to go and check your pre-trip. You need to be like, all right, let's hear your pre-trip. Like you never ask a student, hey, uh, you want to do your pre-trip? You want me to hear your pre-trip? No, you don't give them that option. Tell them, hey, I'm going to hear your pre-trip and make sure that you check it. Um, Plain and simple. And anyone that watches my channel and ever needs help out there, if you're an instructor out there, all you got to ever do is ask me for help. I mean, Greenwich, he was out there and he needed a little bit of guidance. Now, Greenwich had been a driver for a long time, but he needed some help out there. He was all like, "Hey, man, how do you do this alley dock?" When we had the alley dock, and I was all like, "Well, let me show you how I do mine." So I showed him how I did mine, and he was all like, "Wow, that's freaking great." So he liked it. He started using it. Like, I don't mind helping people, but you have to come ask me. You have to come ask me. And like, just so you know, whenever you come ask me for help out there, I'm gonna be like, either I'm gonna tell you what you need to do. I'm gonna be like, hey, look, so if this is the problem, then you need to try this out, see how that works for you. So I'll come up with something. Hey, go try that out, see how that works. Come back and tell me if it worked. If it didn't work, then I'll teach you how to do it a different way. And I'm willing to help. A lot of us guys out there that train a lot of students, we are willing to help. Like if you come out there and you're like, hey man, I'm having trouble, like, I'm just not understanding how to get him to understand it, or her. I'm not my student. I'm not under I got to get them to understand this, but I'm not getting through to them. All right, well, let's see what you can do. Or maybe it's like my student can't do the maneuver. Hey, come over to my pad and be like, hey, what's up? And you know what I'll do? I'll get in the truck, and like I'm not gonna talk to you like in front of your student or none of that. I'm gonna be like, hey, let's talk over here. Like, hey, y'all do something for a minute. Study pre-trip for a second. And I'll talk to you and I'll be like, all right, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. Sometimes, hey, I don't know how to do the maneuver at all. I'll be like, all right, well, here's what we're gonna do. I said, I'll jump in the driver's seat and I'll do the maneuver. I'll be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm thinking. Like this is, and I'll show them how to do the actual maneuver, the instructor. And I'll be like, that's how I do it. And then what I'll do sometimes is I'll be like, hey, you get in the seat. All right, do this, do this, do this, and let them actually do it. And they're all like, wow, that's not as hard as I was making it. And I'm like, yeah, it's all right, man. Like you're new, you need help. Come ask for help. Don't be scared. I'm definitely one that will help you. So definitely come out there and ask me for help. I'm not gonna turn you away. I'm not gonna be like, oh man, figure that out. You chose to do this, so like you should know what you're doing. No. I was new. I was new. If I needed help, I didn't know who to talk to whenever I needed help when I started training. So like I kind of just watched the guy next to me and then like I would go over there, hey, what do you do in this situation? And they would help me. So at the end of the day, don't be scared to come ask for help if you need help. A lot of people can just do it on their own. They're all like, all right, man, I understand how this works. I'm just going to do it. And that's cool too. But if you do need the help, like stop by my pad. Hey, Twisted, I need some help. Or hey, Daniel, I need some help. Like I'm willing to help. Gene Scott, what's up, Gene Scott? How you doing? Still over there making the money over there at Rosedale? But yeah, it's craziness sometimes. Like sometimes, and the thing is, I'm not very. If I watch the guy next to me and he's messing up and he's messing up and they're over there struggling, like I might come over there. I might mosey my way close to your pad and be like, "Hey, how's it going?" If you're all like, "Oh man, it's great," I'm like, "Okay," you know. Most of the time, I'm not gonna go do that because I know a lot of people don't like the help. So it's kind of like, I'm just gonna stick over here and I'm gonna let you do your thing. But if you actually want some help and you come ask me, I'm definitely gonna help you. I'm definitely gonna help you. And it just takes that. As a good instructor, you're gonna be able to ask people for help. All right, when they're look, I was a trainer for what, like instructor for like 6 years, and they came out with this new backing that we're doing. And what I did is I let some of the other guys go mess with it. I let some of the other guys mess with it. I messed with it. I looked at different stuff, and what I did is I went to everybody out there pretty much, and I went over there and I'm all like, hey, what are you doing, bro? Let me see how you're doing that. So I watched how they did the maneuver, and I was all like, oh, I like that. I like that. I don't like that. So what I did is I just went out there to each pad and watched different people do it. I was over there and some of them were all like, bro, you don't know, like, what are you doing over here? I'm all like, dude, I'm trying to pick up some skills from you, like for reals. But let me see what you're doing. So Gene Scott says, no, buddy, I've been at National Carriers for almost a year now. What? Gene, I didn't even know you went to them. I thought you were still at Rosedale, brother. Well, hey, you've been with them a year. Let's go. Well, the thing is, I just took a little bit from everybody out there and I've combined it and I've made it into this is what I like and what I don't like. I'm real big on odds. I'm all like, what percentage of the time does doing this work out versus what's the percentage of it not? So I try to stay within like over at 80%, it works every time. kind of area. And then what I do from there is the 20% that is not going to work. From there, I go, what's the highest percentage of the way to fix this? And I go through that until I get it to where I'm all like, okay, my students have like a like overall like a 99.9% chance of passing as long as they follow this stuff to the T. And it's worked out for me. I'm not big at gambling. I don't like, oh, it works half the time. No, I want something that's going to work all the time, and I want something that I can teach you and make you better from. Like right now, I'm writing down a lot of more stuff with my students, and I'm giving them like, hey, copy this paper that I wrote out. Like, here, that's your copy. You can use that the rest of your career. That is the answers to back it into any spot ever. That is the true answers to it. So it's not just what we're going to do on the pad. It's what you're going to do your entire career. That's it. So JH Lee says, hi, sir. I'm going to attend prime orientation soon. Married a couple can get PSD and TNT training together. Oh, a married couple that can get PSD and TNT training together in same vehicle and same instructor. Thank you. It's possible. It's possible, but sometimes it works out like that. Last time I trained a husband and wife, I had to separate them. Just so you know, like last time I had a husband and wife, I had to separate them. I had to say, hey, you come in at this time and you come in at this time. Because what would happen is the husband would tell the wife, he'd be like, hey, you need to try harder. You need to do better on your pre trip. He would have her stressed out. Like she was stressed out from him on her case. And then what would happen to him is he was trying to be overconfident in everything he was doing. So he was really messing up out there because he was trying to do extra to make it even better. And like he was messing stuff up. And then they would get frustrated because they would see that stuff like he's not doing good, she's not doing good. Like they would feed off of each other and it just became a mess. So I ended up being like, hey, y'all are coming in at separate times. Y'all are not working good together. So just so you know, sometimes it's better if y'all don't end up in the same area. Jay Tiller, hey man, looking forward to meeting you after orientation. Yes, and I remember talking to you. Yeah, we got everything worked out. So just make sure you still remind me the week before you come. I have a lot of stuff going on, is the reason I tell people that whenever they send me the date. I'm all like, hey, I got your date, but just so you know, remind me the week before you get here because I'm so busy, like different students. I'm trying to test people out and stuff like that. If you let me know the week before you get here, then I can be like, all right, I can go tell them now because about the week before you get here is when I need to tell them, hey, this student's coming in next week on this day and he's going to be with me. So it just makes everything line up better. Um, because I get, so, man, I've been there before where somebody didn't remind me the week before and I go in there and they're all like, hey, the student wanted you as a trainer, but you didn't tell me nothing about them. And I was all like, go through my text messages and I was like, oh, yep, yep, yeah. So it causes a little bit of confusion. That's why I'm always like, hey, remind me before you get here. Like, let me know. It happens. But yeah, it's gonna be great, man. It's gonna be great. It's fun. Like this whole process right here is fun. I kind of Somebody was telling me the other day, they said, "Man, don't you ever get tired of like soon as you get a student to a good point, like you're all like, man, this dude's doing great." Then you lose that student because you test them out and they go out with somebody else and then you got to start over from the bottom. So, it's like they asked me that and I had to think about it for a while. So, I was like, yeah, but it's all good. And then I thought about it for a while and I was like, you know what? They're kind of right. And I said, you know what? I think that I'm giving instead of like me doing TNT or anything like that, because I'm all like, man, this was a great student. Like I want to keep them. I think that I can help out more people by just keep on training PSD. And I think that it's more or less like me looking back and saying, man, this guy came in and he couldn't get nothing. Like I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna pass this guy. And then somehow I get him up to that point where he's driving, he's back, and he's doing his pre-trip, and like he's just smoking it. And like sometimes I sit back and I tell a lot of my students, I'm all like, I don't know how I do what I do, but like I can have somebody that's like not doing good, and all of a sudden, like work with them and work with them and work with them, and then boom, something just clicks, and I don't even know how I do it, but they start doing great. Gene Scott says, "Y'all don't let him lie. LOL. He talked to me every day." Threw me to the wolves. Just playing twisted. Uh, what? Sometimes they have like a special case student I have to work with. That's like the best way I can put it. And they're all like, "Hey man, I really need you to train this guy." But I still took care of Gene. I still took care of you because I put you on a great truck too. If you remember, like you were with Mr. Tennessee Flatbetter. You were in good hands. So I still took care of you. Bring earplugs. Let's see. I'm leaving out next Saturday. Orientation's on Monday the 17th. Yeah, see, that's still a while from now. I can tell you real quick if like I can tell you 17th is perfect because I should be if everything goes well like I plan, I'm testing one guy on the 19th, and I'm testing one guy on the 20th. So I got two guys right now, and they're testing about on those days. Now, if they're not ready for their test, then it gets pushed back. But you know, I try to get everyone ready for their test a week before their test. That's my goal, and I shoot for that goal hard. And I'm like, I want to get you ready for your test a week before it. And then what we do that next week is we just improve on everything. That's what we do. So I like to get people completely ready for their test, and then that next week is just like, let's improve you. Let's make you better. Let's tighten you up. Let's shine you up. Let's get you going. You miss out. Tennessee got a bonus for the first. Hey, yeah, he did definitely. So yeah, there's always a great bonus for the first test. I only had to stay there 10 days. Let's go. Yeah, it was probably 14 days, Gene, but who's counting? 17th is whenever I get my 17th is when I get my first student. I'm gonna be on the edge for a bit. Yeah, backwoods. I feel you there. It's your first get your first one. It's not your first student though. Technically, it's really what your second student or something like that. But yeah, hey, and backwoods, if you need any help, you know where I'm at, bro. Like, you know where I'm at. I can definitely help you out. Like, I have some people, they want a copy of my pre-trip. Like, I don't mind. It's not even my pre-trip, really. It's Justin's pre-trip, and he made that thing. That thing is excellent, but it's the pre-trip that I use. So like some people want a copy of it, and Justin does not mind me letting people use it. So, I can't take credit for that pre-trip because I'm not the one that made it. Hello, hello. Nice. Definitely looking forward to it. Anyone recommended reaching out for TNT? No, I don't. There's no one that I recommend to reach out for TNT because I don't I don't really know anybody doing TNT right now that like you can reach out to. So You know, so whenever I use, and we can't even do it no more, but we used to be able to kind of be like, hey, tell my fleet manager, hey, you got a TNT trainer on the fleet, and this is a great student, take them, keep them on the fleet. We can't even do that no more, but so like I would always want to see like what the skill set was, and like how great, like, was this dude on time all the time, different stuff like that before I would even tell my fleet manager that. USA. Learn about preacher from your old videos. My videos are not that old. How old are my videos on pre-trip? I'm just curious. See, go here, go to my channel. I see people say my old pre-trip videos. 1 year. So 1 year. My pre-trip videos are 1 year, are only 1 year old. So and I kind of do need to redo them. I'm thinking about redoing them because that was my old truck. So that was my old truck, and I'm not in that truck anymore. So, there are some differences on this newer truck. So I might go ahead and redo the pre-trip videos. I could probably take some time out and redo them because I do get a lot of people that this is your old pre-trip video. Um, Some people don't like that it's in sections. I like that it's in sections. I think that it makes it easier, but some people want the whole video. So I don't know if I should put out the entire video, like start to end, like here's the video, or if I wanted to keep it in sections like it's in, because I feel like it's better in sections. Like if you're just looking for the outside of the vehicle, you got that one. If you're looking for the light inspection, then I got that one. Oh man, if I let's see if I can share screen. Share screen. So like these videos right here are only a year old. All these videos right here. This one's 9 months old, and that is my truck right there. That's the truck I'm in now. So, this is my old truck. But what do y'all think? Y'all like them in the sections like that? Do you like them in the sections, or do you like a full video like this? I'm just curious. Yeah, that's my old truck right there. Seeing one of the good things about these pre-trip videos right here, and what I tell my students is, like, look how I'm pointing at stuff. I'm definitely pointing at that part. You can definitely use the videos for that. My biggest thing with my pre-trip videos is how to point at stuff and identify the stuff. That's what I have my students use it for. Is what does this look like? What does that look like? This light inspection, I get like, man, my students watch this light inspection right here, and it's like a night and day difference because they'll try to do the pre-trip, and I'm all like, hey, are you using that light inspection video? And they'll go through that light inspection video, and man, they will do such a great pre-trip from this light inspection video.
Clearance light, top of the trailer. Marker light.
Point it all out.
Reflector, marker light.
Yeah, my beard
headlight,
was all like,
clearance
it was
lights.
raining that day, so my beard is all like.
Now I'm going to do my 5x5. That's my right turn signal, left turn signal, four-way flashers, high beams, brake lights.
On this
I need you to check for them at the front, side, rear of both truck and trailer. Will you help me?
And he needed videos, so I made them super quick. Great guy. He's on TikTok though.
You have to turn the key to the on.
Let's get rid of this. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Anybody got some input, I would be happy with it. Backwoods says the first student that can't kick me off my own truck. The first student that oh yeah. I get you. I understand what you're saying. Gene said, but you didn't help me get off the first trainer's truck, man. It was so bad. You saved me. Oh, but you did help me get off the first trainer's truck. Yes. Man, if and that's there's some bad trainers out there. There's some good trainers out there. And you were in a bad situation and you told me about it. We talked about it. And yeah, we got you off that truck and got you onto the next one because you needed it. You needed help there. So yeah, I definitely, even though I didn't train you, I was like, hey man, you watch my channel, we became friends. Like, hey, you need help, hit me up. And I tell all my students that, hey man, if you got any problems on TNT, then hit me up, let me know, and we'll see what we need to do. Because not everybody's gonna mesh well. They're not gonna be like, oh man, we're great together. Sometimes people are not good together. So sometimes you need a new trainer. It just depends on the situation. Like you talk to me and tell me like what your situation is, I can kind of like, hey, you should stay with this trainer, or hey, no, that's too far. And in your case, we got you on a different truck, and we even got you on Greenwich's truck. So that was another bonus. It is so easy. Um, yeah, you like it the way we break it down into sections. I watched them several times. Yeah. Okay, so the sections work. Both ways have been super helpful. That guy in the long video where it's start to end, that guy Brandon, he was very confident, and he worked hard on his pre-trip. And that was like the first time I heard his pre-trip, and he was so confident. I was all like, he's like, man, I know my pre-trip, and I was trying to make him kind of nervous about it. So guess what I did? I put a camera on, and I said, all right, let's hear this thing, man. Let's see how good you are. And and I did have to correct him during it because he was all like, that completes my end cap. And I was like, no, don't do that. So like I did help him right there. I said, hey, don't do that. And I just left it in the video. That is a uncut video, a just Brandon doing his pre-trip. And he did extremely well. He did really good. And pre-trip shows how bad you want this. So the better it is, then the more you want this. And that guy right there, he wanted this bad. He's a TNT trainer now. Every time I see him, we see each other, we get to talk for a minute. I mean, he's busy, I'm busy, but really, really great guy. Like awesome guy, really cool guy, easy to get along with. His TNT students are gonna love him. But yeah, I'm looking into remaking the videos. I definitely would like to remake the videos. Thinking about, I got some different ideals going through my head on how to redo the videos. I just haven't made a decision on which way I want to do it because I thought about just doing it like that again, but I also thought about doing that, but also having the part actually pop up on the screen like over to the side where you can see it real good and have arrows pointing at it. So not only am I pointing at it like that, but I have arrows. And I'm even thinking about, which would take a long time and it's going to be a lot of editing, but I'm also thinking about having the words pop up on the screen like in on the side over here, and like it's saying like uh dipstick, probably mounted secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and fill to the fill line checked by using a dipstick, and just have the words right there on the screen. That way you can see all the words. And that way, if you wanted to make some flashcards or whatever, you pause the video, write out your flashcard, play. Next time you see the words pop up, boom, pause, write down the words, get the words, and continue on like that. It'd be a real easy way to make flashcards. That is a lot of editing. That is a lot of editing, and that's going to take a lot of time. But if it helps people, I'm willing to put in the work and I'm willing to do it because I'm all about bettering the program. I'm not only that, but it makes my job easier because if I have a great video on the pre-trip, I get my students and I'm all like, hey, you're on my truck. This is my video. Like, watch it. Or people are all like, hey, man, I've already watched your pre-trip video. Oh, yeah. That makes it even easier because you already been studying my way. So let's go. You know, I get sick of talking about pre-trip, really. I do. You probably heard me say the word like talk about it this whole live pretty much. Any thoughts on Prime Inc? I have an opportunity with them, but don't know anyone who works with them. I work for Prime Inc. Like I'm working there. I like it here. This camera is shaking. I don't know how bad it is, but yeah, I like it here. I'm not going anywhere. They treated me good, and I believe that is a great program. The best thing about it, and you can ask the CDL holders that come into here, the best thing about going through Prime and going through a mega carrier is the facts that you got a job after you finish training. You go to a CDL school, you might have a job after training, you might not. So that is one of the biggest pros about coming to a mega carrier. The negative is having that manual restriction on your license, but it's not that big of a it's not that big of a problem, really, because a lot of places are going to automatics, and like the manuals are kind of phasing out the automatics. And it's an automated manual transmission is what it is. It's not really automatic. It manually shifts the gears for you. So, but it's or it automatically shifts the gears for you is what I meant. But it most places are going to them because they're more fuel efficient, they're cheaper to fix, all kinds of positive reasons why people would want to go to the automatic only. So, that's the only thing that I could find that's not good about going to a mega carrier and going to a school. As for the training you get at Prime, I think that it's better than you get from a school, and it's not like a whole bunch of people fighting. I hear horror stories about these schools and stuff because I've been talking to these CDL holders, and they're all like, "Man, I went to a school and it was a fight to get time in the truck. You had like 20 guys, one truck." And like the horror stories about the truck didn't have no power steering, or the truck was all beat up, or the truck broke down, and then we were only with, one truck, or, it's craziness. Or hey, I didn't even get to drive much. Like I drove one time before I took my test, and it was just around the parking lot. Like, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. Backwoods said, drove a 13 speed for years. Love this automatic. Yeah, and another thing is, who really wants to be shifting all those gears anymore? Like you get a little bit at first it's fun. Like you're all like, man, boom, boom, boom. You're just going through the gears, you're hitting the splitter, you're doing it. You're all like, man, I feel like a real trucker. Yeah. But after a while, you're all like, oh, stop and go traffic, downshift, downshift, upshift, downshift, upshift, downshift, stop, start over, start going up the gears again. Like it kind of was annoying. It started getting annoying. Like you were like, "Man, come on, like, I'm tired of shifting." You're like, it's kinda a workout on your feet with a clutch and a brake and, all that. It's a lot. The automatic, you're just chilling. You're just chilling in the automatic, so it's pretty good. And once you get a hang like, a lot at first, we were all kinda like, everyone that drove the man that were in the manuals going to the automatics, we're all like, "What do we do in wintertime?" Because we were used to downshift and putting it in that lower gear and it just holding you and stuff like that. And then once we took the automatics class and we started learning how the automatic worked more, it became way better. But when we first got the automatic, there was no such thing as automatic class. It was all like, here's your truck, go. And you're all like, what? And then they started having, like, after I got my first automatic and I was already in it for my first winter, they're all like, yeah, we have an automatic class now. I was like, that would have been nice a while back. I went and took the automatic class and I learned so much in it. I was like, really? Really? That's what I was supposed to do? I was like, "Oh, man, I was not doing that." So, like, I learned even more taking the automatic class. There was a lot of tricks that your buddies, you call up your buddy, hey man, you train on automatic? What how did you do this? How did you do that? Oh, you can do that? Like we were just that's how we got word around, calling each other. The level of training was a huge factor in me for me. My brother-in-law went to a school with two trucks, 15 people, and not heat or AC in the trucks. Yeah, and that's what you run into to also is older vehicles that don't have working stuff in them like AC and stuff. Over here we Prime is real good about keeping their trucks like newer trucks. They're real good. I believe it's a 6 years that they keep the truck on the fleet. If anything's older than 6 years, they're getting it off the fleet. They're selling it, getting another truck. Most of our trucks, lease and company, they try to get us out of them within 3 years. That way they can sell them. But if you buy a truck and you own a truck, they're trying to only do 6 years. Once it gets 6 years old, they're ready to get it off prime. So for the most part, you're in anything that's a brand new truck to like 2 years old. Some people will take a lease that's for a year, or maybe they get a company truck that has one more year on it. So, they're in it for a short time. And then, boom, you get another truck, a newer truck. So, and it works the same for the trailers too. They're always getting new trailers, new trailers, new trailers, selling the old trailers, so they keep a lot of the equipment newer. There's only one place that has the older trailers that are junky trailers, and that's Eco Shred. That's a business that the owner owns, but they have the older trailers that sometimes they give you some problems over there. Those trailers. It'd be nice if they had brand new trailers. Like buy them brand new trailers. I don't even know how many trailers they have. I know that they're over 100 trailers, but it would be nice if they replaced all those trailers too. But it's a different company. I'm sure that they're getting to it someday. But yeah, I would not in the summer, man, being in a hot truck and 15 people sharing that truck. The guy before you sweaty. He's been standing out in the sun. He's all sweaty. He gets in the seat. He's sweating more inside the truck because it's even hotter in there. The seat's getting all wet. His sweaty hands on the steering wheel. Like next person, next person, next person. Then it's your turn and you sit in that seat. Like you start getting wet, you're all like, "Am I sweating or am I getting some other people sweat? Like 14 other people sweat on me? No, 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 no. I don't want none of that. Like, nah. I wouldn't have made it. I would have been like, I people would have been looking at me crazy. Is he wiping? Is he wasting his time in the truck cleaning the steering wheel with Lysol wipes? Yeah, that dude's a germaphobe. Like that dude's tripping. Like I'd have me a plastic bag or a seat cushion, something cover up the seat. Like I don't know. I just can't do it. You know, I just can't do it. Yeah, yeah, it's no good for me. But hey, if you can do it, man. Like go for it. I'm not you. So like if you want to be in that truck that bad, you gotta do what it takes to get your license, go for it. There are places that give you grants and stuff like that too to get your CDL. Like I've heard of that, like states paying for it, different stuff like that. That's about the same as going to a CDL school. You end up with a CDL, but nobody wants to touch you. Nobody wants to touch you because you don't have no experience. So a lot of people get that CDL, they still end up here. Like I've had five this year, I've had five CDL students already this year, and only two of them have passed the test. Only two of them have made it to the test. Let me text this. Just making sure that it's not an emergency. So if it's emergency, I'm gonna get off my live. He usually doesn't hit me up, especially late at night like this. But I forgot where I was going. I forgot where I was at. I was gonna say something, but he called me. I have no idea where I'm at. I wish I could hit rewind and play back. That way I could be like, oh, I was right here. But yeah, so I had five CDL students this year. Only two of them made it to the test. Uh, one guy, one guy was scared to drive the truck. Like that's all I can say is he was terrified to drive the truck. He talked big game. He was all like, "Man, I'm so great at driving trucks, and I'm so good at backing trucks. I drove with my dad. Like he was on it. He was like, I'm so great. I'm so awesome." I was like, "Okay, well, we went on a load." I was like, "Let's go. See how good you are." He missed a turn. We had to go through town because I'm all like, "We're turning right there," and he missed the turn. Um, he was jerking the wheel back and forth while he was driving, and he made some bad turns. And like I'm teaching him, I'm telling him how to make the turns. I'm all like, look, go straight out, get all the room you can. It's a left turn, get all the room you can, blah, blah, blah. And he just turned like he was in a car. I ended up just saying, set the brakes. I'm taking over. I'm taking over. And, I ended up taking over the rest of the drive. He went in there and he was all like, I need a new trainer and like all this stuff. And they got him off my truck. So like that was the first one of the year. And I was all like, wow. I said, great. Then the second one of the year was he didn't want to study his pre-trip. He was all like, he just didn't want to study it. And he was actually good at backing and good at driving, but whenever it came to the pre-trip, I was like, "You're gonna stand out here and study this because as soon as you get it done, I can test you out, and you're good." Well, he was all like, "Oh, family emergency." And then the next one was all like, "Hey, recruiter said I get paid this much money, and why am I not getting paid?" And I'm all like, "Dude, you're in the PSD phase. They loan you $200 a week while you're here. You're not getting paid yet. TNT phase is where you get paid." So I was like, "That's where you get paid." And he was mad about that. He was mad about that, and he was like, "Prime was lying to me, blah 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 blah. My recruiter told me this," and I'm like, "Look, dude, I can't tell you what the recruiter told you. I have no idea what the recruiter told you." I said, "What I'm telling you is that this is how the program works." I'm all like, "This is how it works," and he didn't like that, so he ended up like, "You know what? I'm going somewhere else." So I mean, it is what it is. Or actually, that was the one that went home on pre-trip. The last one, he was doing real good at driving. We were gonna get to his back, and he was real good at driving. I really like to do. And actually he left because he got a job he got hired somewhere else. So it was more local, and I can understand it. Like your wife misses you, your kids miss you, and I could understand it. Like he was a real cool guy. I really liked him. Uh, I just wish that he would have told me when he quit. Like he would have been like, or he would have responded back to my text message because I'm like, "Hey, where are you at, man? Like it's time to work," and like he's gone. Like cool guy, just like, hey, give me a heads up. Like, hey, I left because of this. I had to hear from my other student, like, hey, he quit because of this, this, and this. I'm like, that's cool. Cool. Oh, okay. So who hit me up? I'm gonna tell you who hit me up. So it's not an emergency who hit me up, but I'll tell y'all who hit me up. If y'all remember Captain Banana, and if y'all follow Captain Banana, like uh he still does videos every once in a while, but Captain Banana hit me up. So he was all like, it's not an emergency. I just wanted to call you because 5 years ago today, 5 years ago today, he got a CDL. So So that's awesome. So 5 years ago today, I was in Pittston in the morning, and I was sitting in there, and they or Captain Banana was out there testing, and I was sitting there and I was chilling like I normally do, and man, they came in fast, and I was like, "What happened? You failed or what?" And he's all like, "No, I'm done, man. I passed." I'm all like, "What? What do you mean you passed already?" He's all like, "Yeah, the test is over with." Man, I looked at the examiner come in and I was like, "Hey," I said, "the test is over with." He's like, "Yeah, man, that dude was fast at his preacher." He goes, "I was chasing him around the truck. I had to tell him to slow down like 3 times. Like I couldn't keep up with him. He was on one. Like he was just running through pre-trip and his backing. He was all like, dude, he did most of his maneuvers in like under a minute. Like he was out there killing it. And then like to drive, man, we got through that drive. He drove so confident and all that. Like he freaking did awesome. He did awesome. We're already done." I was like, "What?" It's like, no way this dude's done with all of his tests already. That's unbelievable. But yeah, he finished his drive and everything. He finished his whole test super fast. It was like a blink and it was over with. I remember the day before his test. Day before his test, right? I like to I like to run you through all the maneuvers the day before you test. It's kind of like my thing. I want you to do all the maneuvers. I want you to do the drive. I want to hear your pre-trip. I want you to do everything the day before your test. Day before his test, he was so nervous because he was going through my test. He just boom, like couldn't do nothing. I was like, I don't even know what to do with you. I said, I'm about to take you off the list. I'm like, you can't test, man. I'm taking you off the list because you're like beyond like wow. Like I couldn't even express how bad he was doing. And I was like, you know what? Take a lunch. We'll come back out here after lunch. And if you're still not doing good, we're canceling your test and we're pushing it off a day because like I can't test you like that. Like you need to do good. Like you're gonna do good for the test. I don't want to test more than once. I don't like testing more than once. I like testing one time and that's it. So he came back from lunch, and I was like, "All right, all I know to do is just do these maneuvers all again." We did all those maneuvers again. Boom, 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 boom. He hit it 0 points on everything. I'm like, "What happened?" He goes, "Man, I was just so nervous this morning." I was like, "Nervous?" I was like, "I don't even think you knew your name this morning." That's what I think. I think you were all like, "I don't even know who I am." So like it was cool and everything. He was super nervous, and that's another reason that I kind of do that. I like that last day with me, just to be a quick test. Like, hey, look, you're gonna take my test. I want it to be stressful. I do, because what I learned from Captain Banana is sometimes you just gotta shock all those nerves out of them, and it's good to do my test the day before the test because guess what? A lot of people are nervous with me. A lot of people are. I make people nervous for some reason. I don't know why, but people are super nervous with me. So you take my test and you're like, "Oh no, oh no, I know." And it's like such a shock. Like it shocks your nerves that whenever your test comes around, you're all like, "I ain't worried about my test. I got this. Like I ain't worried about it at all." And you can just take your test and be done. Like you're done. Take your test and you're done. So a lot of people are like, "Man, that test, I wasn't even nervous for that test, but your test, whoo, I was nervous." Like my guy today, he was nervous today. I was like, "Why are you nervous? It's just an eval. It ain't even a real test. You know, it's not a real test. You're taking an eval today." So I was like, "It's not even that bad. You just show him your skills." And he was nervous today, so a little bit he was messing up a little bit. He was for a while he was messing up, and then he just started getting better and better and better as the day went. So I was all like, "Look, we don't even have to test today." I said, "We don't have to. We don't have to do your eval today. It can be tomorrow, whatever. I'm not tripping, you know." And he's all like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." And he was all like, "What's the plans for tomorrow?" I was like, "I don't know. If I get a load, we're gonna go do a load, but it is what it is." And he took his test with the examiner, and he was all like, "Man, that was so much better than working with you. You had me stressed out." And I was all like, "It's like, why were you stressed out with me? Am I that mean? Like, I'm not that mean, am I?" And he goes, "Man, it's just something about you. It's your aura. It's your aura or something, man. Like, you made me nervous. You made me nervous." But the examiner, he was nice and he was chill and he was calm and he's just hanging out, and like he was a lot better with it. And I was all like, "Man, I told you the test is not that bad." Like, I'm hard on my guys. I'm hard on my guys because I expect you to be great. I expect you to be great. I expect to make you great. I'm not expecting you to just get there on your own, but I'm expecting to teach you and make you great. So like I am very passionate about what I do. Sometimes I'll yell, sometimes I'll raise my voice, sometimes I'll be like, "What are you doing, bro?" Like I'm not a pushover. I'm definitely not that. Like I make sure that like I'm blunt. If you're doing something wrong, I'm going to tell you you're doing it wrong because my beliefs are like if you don't know you're doing it wrong, then how are you going to fix it? So that's one of my biggest beliefs. So if you're messing up out there, I'm going to tell you you're messing up. I'll be like, "Look, you're not doing this right. I'm going to tell you what you're doing wrong. I'm going to tell you when you're doing it wrong. I'm going to tell you why it's not safe. I'm going to tell you what would be safe to do." So like, there's a lot of stuff like that, and I think that that's what's wrong with some of the people that become trainers is that they don't want that confrontation. They're kind of a pacifist, and they're like, "I don't want to know confrontation. I don't want to tell him he's wrong." Because I've had students that they're all like, I'm all like, "Hey, on your pre-trip, you forgot your shock absorber, for instance." I'm just using a random part. "Hey, you forgot your shock absorber," and they're all like, "No, no, I said it." And I'm all like, "It doesn't make no sense for me to tell you that you didn't do it if you did it. How does that make sense? If you're doing good, why would I tell you you didn't do it? Like, doesn't make sense. I'm saying you didn't do it because you didn't do it. So like I'm not scared to be like, "Hey, no, you didn't do it." I said, "I believe it because you said it." If you ever hear me say "I believe it because you said it," it means I don't believe nothing you say, but I'm gonna just tell you I believe it because you did say that. Like, so it's up to you to like realize it. And I give everyone the same speech. Hey, you're only gonna learn from your mistakes. So if you're dead set on like you did say it, then keep on making the same mistake. We'll see what happens. But if you're gonna learn from it and be like, "You know what, I forgot it. Next time I'll remember to say it," then you're gonna learn more. It's like whenever you're a kid and you start crawling, then you start walking. The first time you stand up, you're probably gonna fall. And that's you're learning from that mistake. "Oh man, I was standing still, I lost my balance, I fell." Next time you're gonna get up, you're gonna be like, "I better start moving so I can keep my balance." So you're gonna start going fast. Boom, you're gonna fall. You're gonna be like, "Dang man, that was too fast. My feet couldn't keep up." So you get up again. Then you're gonna try to walk slower, you're gonna fall backwards. Boom. Don't lean backwards, yeah, until you finally get it down where you're walking. That's how people learn. You learn a lot from your mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. I learn from my mistakes. If I make a mistake, I'm gonna learn from it. I'm gonna be like, "Oh, shouldn't have done that. I know not to do that again." And sometimes I'll make the same mistake again. I'll be like, "Dang, man, I just made that mistake. I just messed that up." I'm all like, can't be doing that no more. So like, and it's understandable. You're gonna make mistakes out there. Nobody is perfect. I still make mistakes to this day. I'll back under a trailer, like I'll back under a trailer, and I'll turn the wheel the wrong way, and I'm like, "Dang, man!" I'm all like, "My students just seen this." I'm straight up with them though. I'm all like, "Dang, man, I turned the wheel the wrong way." I said, "See, don't worry about it. I make mistakes too. I make mistakes too. We all make mistakes. The thing is, do you learn from your mistakes, or do you just continue in that loop of making the same mistake over and over and over? Do it you acknowledge the mistake that you made, or do you just be like, "Nah, I was right," when you know you were wrong? Learn from your mistakes. You get a lot further in life by just being humble and admitting, "Hey, I messed up. I'm not gonna do it again." Like, humble yourself. It's just how it is. especially out here in the trucking world. Like sometimes you gotta be humble. Sometimes you can't have your feelings on your shoulder. Like you go into some of these shippers and receivers. When you go in there and that shipper and that receiver, they're just maybe they're having a bad day or they just don't like their job or whatever. They're rude to you. You could be rude back and you could just make it all worse, or you could just kill them with kindness and just be like, you know what, this dude's having a bad day or this girl's having a bad day, whatever, whoever they are, they're having a bad day. But you know what? I'm not gonna let them control my emotions. I'm not gonna let them get into my head. I'm just gonna go back to my truck and chill. And whenever they call me with that door, they call me with that door. Look on the bright side. I'm about watching TV. I'm about to hang out in my truck. I'm gonna chill out. Trucker Steve, CDL instructor, says, yes, I still make mistakes. See, we all make mistakes. We still make mistakes. It doesn't matter how long you've been driving. We all still we all still make mistakes. And if you can learn from it, you're gonna get better. You know, and it happens. No one's perfect. No one's perfect. So I don't even know where I was going with all that. We were talking about all kinds of stuff. I was just ranting on, going on with it. Oh man. But yeah, it just mistakes are bound to happen, and if you can learn from it and overcome it, don't even be embarrassed. Like, hey, you don't put your pride that high where if you make a mistake, you're gonna be all embarrassed and in your feelings either, because it I think it makes you a greater person if you can accept that you made a mistake and you can own up to it. No, like if you can own up to your mistake, like say your fleet manager called you and they're all like, "Hey, did you really do this? Did you really put that trailer in the wrong spot? Like they told you to drop it there and you dropped it over there." Own up to it. Be like, "Yeah, yeah, I did that. I sure did. I I just messed up." It's a lot better than trying to lie about it and be like, nope, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. That was somebody else. Like, because guess what? That place might have a camera there. Guess what? Now you're lying and you're just making it all worse. Don't make it worse on yourself. Sometimes I'm all like, well, now I know. Like sometimes it's better just to say, well, now I know. You'll shock people by saying that too. I remember one time I was getting in trouble for I can't even remember what. Like I think it was like I think it was I had a orange reflective vest on and they wanted all yellow reflective vest on out there on the pad. And it's not that big of a deal, but I wore that orange one and then they were all like, you can't wear orange out there and you need to be in yellow. And I was like, well, now I know. And they were just so shocked by me saying that they just stopped talking and they're all like, all right, I'm glad you know now. Have a good day. And I'm like, yeah, see you. And it just ended the whole conversation. And I was all like, oh dang, that worked. But yeah, it is what it is. And I feel like freight's picking up. I see a lot of good things out there. Like I talk to a lot of people, and from what I hear, everybody's like, man, freight is starting to pick up. Let's go. So hopefully this year is going to be real good on moving freight. Like I want to see another boom in here. I want to see like freight moving, people getting paid. Like I don't want to. The last 2 years, it was pretty hard out there for a lot of folks, especially if you weren't able to manage your money very well. That's one thing in trucking you got to do. You got to be able to manage your money. If you're not good at managing your money, you're going to struggle a lot because there's some weeks that load's not going to hit that same check. And whenever that happens, it's going to hit the next check. So you're going to be good down the road. But on that check that you were expecting to get, stuff happens. It ended up on the next check. You have to have money to fall back on. So if you're good at managing your money, good at savings, then you can pull a little bit out of savings. Boom, when the next check hits, that good one, you can just replace back into savings what you took out. So, you know, that's the thing with trucking. That's why it's real hard for anybody in trucking to be like, I make 1,800 a week every week. No, you don't make no 1,800 every week. Yeah, because it's so much of like check this load's gonna hit on this check, this load's gonna hit on that check. You know, I've had like a 1,800-mile week, and I was all like, oh man, this sucks. But it's because a load hit the next week. So the next week I had like a 3,500-mile week or a 4,000-mile week. And that was a big check. And I'm like, yeah, that next check's gonna be awesome, but this check's gonna suck. But if you're good at managing your money, you don't really feel it, you know. That's why I don't run the I like to run 8 hours a day. I don't like I like working on recaps. I don't like running my clocks out and hitting that 34-hour reset, because that week that you hit a 34-hour reset, you're sitting there for a long time, and that's a whole day of not driving. I like that kind of more consistent style of checks, like, hey, I'm running every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. So I'm getting like a more consistent, like steady flow of checks than good check, bad check, a roller coaster of checks. That's what I like to call it. Where this week I'm going to be able to run every day. The next week, I got to take a 34-hour reset. So the truck stops for a while. The only time I like the truck stopping is when I was on home time. I wanted to move that truck every day for about 8 hours, 8, 9 hours a day, and park and then hang out for a while, shower, clothes, laundry, whatever, watch some TV, chill out. And then the next day, bam, I'm ready to drive again. So I like working. I like working on recaps. I never liked working on the let's run the clock out every day and then have to take 34. That to me, I just never understood that. I felt like I made more money whenever I worked on recaps too, and I felt like I could control my when I was driving and stuff like that a lot better, because you couldn't have no time back till midnight, and that's my favorite shift, anyways. I like driving midnight till about 8 in the morning, 8, 9 in the morning. If I take off every night at midnight and I park every morning like 8 or 9 in the morning, guess what? Parking's easy. Taking off at night, you leave that truck stop and it's packed. So you're getting out of the truck stop when it's packed. You're driving whenever there's not much traffic on the road, because guess what? Nighttime. People don't like driving at night. There's solar power drivers, so guess what? The roads move better, And then you park at 8 in the morning. Truck stops empty, easy parking. So to me, though, that's my favorite shift right there. Like I love that shift, and it's to me it's a lot easier. Well, a lot of your deliveries and your pickups are early in the morning, or they used to be whenever I was out there all the time. So it just made it way way better, way easier for me. And then not only that, if you're running 8 hours a day, it's 24 hours in a day, you got a lot more free time. So like that's another plus. So like for 16 hours, so 8 plus 16, and you would be kind of parking and 30-minute break and stuff. So, we'll say 15 hours of free time. 15 hours of free time, you definitely have time to take a shower, hang out, talk to the family, all that stuff, go to bed, wake up midnight and go again. So like it was cool. I liked it. I really do miss driving. So like sometimes the other day, if I get opportunity, like the other day, my CDL student, he was driving us down there. We got mostly the way down there, and I saw like, hey man, I'm bored. I'm driving. Like, get out the seat, man. We're stop at that truck stop. I said, I'm driving the rest of the way. So like I gotta drive the rest of the way, and like I miss that. And now they want what the training department wants is our students doing all the driving, because their theory on it is that's more experience. And I agree, that's more experience for them. They want them to do all the driving. That's more experience for them. There's a lot of stuff that might happen during the times that you're driving. So So like they want that student to get the most experience they can before their test. But sometimes I'm just like, man, I want to drive. Like, get out the seat, man. Let me have this for a while because I miss it. I do. And the craziest thing is I don't even like traveling. Like I don't like long car rides. I can't stand it. I don't like going out of town. Like I'm like traveling for vacation. Like, I don't like that. But for some reason, whenever I'm driving the truck, I can drive the truck for like I can drive my whole 11 out, whatever. I can drive all day in the truck and be fine. I'm cool. I'm like I'm still rested. I'm doing great. But if I'm in my car and I'm driving like take an 8 hour trip or whatever, drive for 8 hours, I'm like, man, I'm sore. I'm tired of being in this car. My knees hurt. My legs hurt. I'm like, man, this is horrible. So yeah, it's something else. Like something about driving the truck and doing the deliveries and stuff. Jesse Reeves says, I'm about to go through my community college and get my permit right now. I'm excited. All right, man. That's what I'm talking about. You are you gonna get your CDL through your community college also, or are you just getting your permit through there? Because you said CDL permit. I just passed my air brakes today. Just one more test. All right, let's go. That's great. Get it done. It's gonna be life changing. I'm telling you, like getting a CDL is life changing. Okay, so you're just gonna you get your permit and then CDL is gonna come out of pocket. Okay, you know, Ruiz, why are you deciding to go to a school instead of coming to a mega carrier? I'm just curious because I mean, if the school's guaranteeing you a job afterwards, and like, yeah, let's go. I'm going to Prime in April. Come with it. Come with it. Like, I love Prime. Like, they pay me great. They treat me good. Uh, I've started XM radio, but fell in love with the books on tape. Kept me awake. Yeah, it keeps your mind. It keeps your mind going. Like whenever I'm out there, I like to listen to like some talk radio, some news, just different stuff like that. Books on tape is good, but that stuff keeps your mind going. You can listen to music and you're all like, man, like even on the Sirius and the X Sirius and all that, they start. It's like they play the same song over and over and over and over. Like it's like, man, 3 hours from now, I'm gonna hear that song again. So yeah, anything that keeps your mind moving and keeps you like going, I think that it does good. I'll go to prom, but I got a dog. Okay, yeah, during training, you can't have the dog with you, but once you get your own truck, you can have the dog with you. I live in Cleveland, Ohio. Thing they send me to PA. Probably, probably they would. It just depends. You're in that area where it's like it might be PA and then it might be Springfield because I've trained people from Ohio. But yeah, the PA was like my if if it wasn't so cold in PA, like if it wasn't so cold and they didn't get all that bad weather and it wasn't so expensive to live over there. And at the time, whenever I chose to move to this area over here in Missouri, at the time it was like the only training facility. So once I moved here, I was like, "Yeah, I'm here." But I would have probably considered going to Pittston because I honestly I don't know why. I don't know why. I think it's just like there's not as many important people at Pittston. Like, don't get me wrong, people are important in Pittston, but I mean, like, there's not like your upper management, you would say, there all the time. I think the terminal's more laid back. Like over here in Springfield, it's kind of like, oh man, people are on edge. They're all like the admins coming, which ain't a big deal. Admins just same people as you, or like the boss or whatever. They're coming by or whatever, and it's like it seems like people are more stressed out. So they're kind of more like I don't know, uptight, whatever the word might be. But over in Pittston, it's like everybody's real laid back, and like I liked it over there. It's a smaller terminal, so like I kind of enjoy training over there. I really did. Like I kind of miss being over there for just training people. But yeah, it's not a bad terminal. They got some great instructors over there. I was training people over there from at the beginning of 2020. I think they opened up the training over there in 2019 at the end of the year, something like that. Does Prime have a terminal in Houston? No, we have a drop yard over there in Houston. Our main terminals are in Springfield, Pittston, and Springfield, Missouri, Pittston, PA, and Salt Lake City, Utah. So that's where our main terminals are. We got some mini terminals out there though. We do have that. So do have mini terminals like Laredo, Denver, the one in Florida. Like they're all like mini terminals and stuff like that. They're all right. They're all right, but nothing like the big facilities we have. Pretty soon we're gonna get one over in like Atlanta, Georgia. Some is last I heard we're getting one in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's gonna have Eco Shred number 2. So I'll probably whenever that one opens up, I'll probably go train over there too. I just like going to like when they open up. I like to get into that area and just go over there and check it out, see what's going on, and like if they need any help with their training program, I'm all like, yeah, I'll come over there. Especially if they ask me. They ask me, they're all like, hey, will you go over to that terminal and help them out over there? I'm all like, yeah, sure. Let me go over there and train for a while. You know, it's it's good for the program. I'll go do it. Hey guys, I'm out of here tonight. I just wanted to come on here. I'm trying to get back into the every Thursday lives. The only thing that will keep me off of this is if I get a load that's going to run late or something like that. If I get a load that's going to take me to real late, like I'm going to get home and then have to run in here and go live, I'm just skipping the day. But I'm trying to get back to every Thursday. Different stuff prevented it, like my wife my wife started working again. So whenever that happened, I had to go in later. So my loads were later. So I wasn't able to do the lives and stuff. But I'm trying to get back in there. If they send me to Springfield, I will use your referral code. Like the way you teach. Well, like you won't know where you're going. You won't know where you're going until you put in the application. So if you don't use it whenever you put in the application, then if you don't use it when you put in the application, then it doesn't even matter if you use it or not because you can't use it after that. It has to be on that first application you fill out. So, but it's all good. You don't have to use it. Uh, Top 20 best trucking companies and ones in the Hall of Fame was listed. Only about 4 of that I knew Prime was the only mega carrier. Yeah. I'm gonna have to look that up. I haven't seen that list, but yeah, y'all have a great night. Thank you all for coming out. Hopefully, I'll see y'all next Thursday. y'all got questions, comments, whatever, put it down in the chat, man, and or write it down on a piece of paper. Come back next week, next Thursday, and ask away. Laters.
Twisted.